In case you missed it, in 2021, along with the Oscar nomination for the best film by the Korean-American director Minari, there was another Oscar nomination for the animated short film directed by the talented animator Erick Oh. A strong contender for the honor, Opera depicted the social crisis of our times and received rave reviews for its artistry and innovative use of repetitive animations. Our globalist today is Erick Oh, and we talk about how he made it in the competitive world of Hollywood animation and what the future holds for this animated director. So, Erick, welcome to the Globalists.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's amazing to be here at Arirang.
Oh, it's wonderful to have you here. Let's start with Pixar. So you are a Pixar alum.
Right.
That means you worked at Pixar for 7 years. But what does that mean in Hollywood? Because, you know, all these Hollywood news stories start with the fact that you are a Pixar alum.
That's so true. I mean, it's just incredible. I still think Pixar is one of my homes in a way, because that's where I started my career as an animator. I learned so much about filmmaking. Everything I'm doing right now is all founded, you know, during those times at Pixar. So it means huge to me. Yeah.
So when we think of Pixar, we think of things, the classics that come out of Pixar. So what are some of the works you worked on, and what do you get out of that experience?
Well, some of the projects you guys may be familiar with, Inside Out, for example, Finding Dory, Coco, those films are, you know, some of the movies I worked on as an animator. And then being an animator is like an actor, if I can portray it as a movie, you know, because you are becoming this character. You are becoming sadness or joy or bing bong, you know?
So what is that process like? I mean, each animator sort of works on one character?
Group of animators.
Group of
are
animators.
Like, so basically, animation is such a collaborative project, you know, so it's not something like you can do it on your own, you know? So you need a group of people, of course, and I was one of the animators who got to give life to this character, you know?
Okay.
Well, for example, yeah, let's talk about Finding Dory. You know, there's a octopus character named Hank, you know, so you kind of learn so much about the octopus. We went to aquarium a couple of times, and the specialists who taught us everything about octopus, when octopus happy or sad, you know. And on top of that, you start studying about the personality of the character this octopus playing. And then based on all those things you learn, and then you start acting this octopus the way it should be, you know. So because octopus, this character Hank, again, is a buddy who's helping Dory to find her parents. And then there are so many obstacles, and that obstacles meaning not only the physical obstacles, but internal journey she has to take on. And Hank should be there for her, you know? So when I'm talking about acting, I'm talking about those type of acting because it has a soul and life into it, you know?
So it's actually not just about the art itself, but really about the story.
Yeah, that's what it is, basically. So having a great artistry or knowing how to draw or paint, that's like a default. You gotta know how to do it. But what to express, that's the more, you know, the more important things.
I mean, that process must have been really eye-opening for you.
Sure.
And Inside Out is an expression of the different feelings.
Right.
So which feeling were you most closely associated with?
Well, I don't want to be a downer, but sadness, you know, I don't know. But
Sadness is such a sweetheart.
such a charming character.
Yeah.
I mean, that is why, even though sadness means sadness, but it doesn't mean just sadness. It just already embraces so many different emotions. And then through sadness, we get to learn so many things in life. As I get to grow and learn about life and the world, I can see that there are so many sorrow and sadness in this world. having your ears and eyes open to those emotions just keep you alerted and also keep you be able to grow and learn stuff.
I think that was what I loved most
Yeah.
about Inside Out, was
Sure.
it's not a one-dimensional, look at sadness or happiness or anger.
Right.
It's a very multifaceted
True.
look at, these kind of feelings, which I figure, for an animator must also have been challenging.
Yeah. It's challenging, at the same time, very rewarding and also exciting as well.
Yeah.
Like as an artist even, being able to study really deeply about those different emotions, that's actually a very privileged experience for me, I think, looking back.
It must have been a team of very talented animators within Pixar. How do you make your mark within that team? At the end, what would you like them to remember you as?
When I was at Pixar, I was kind of like known for thinking out of the box. The guy who has some different perspectives, so that's what I do and that's who I am, so even amongst the group of artists and animators, I was always that kind of guy, so even the reason why I got to the Hank character was because of that too, because oh my God, Hank, this character is physically and technically, creatively very challenging character. We need somebody, a group of artists who can think out of the box and keep doing sort of unconventional way, in a way, right? So I do get fascinated about those challenges and I do enjoy those kind of processes.
But I hear that, even when you were a kid, joining Disney or Pixar was a dream of yours.
I mean, as an animation kid, who wouldn't, right?
Animation kid, what does that mean? Were you always doodling?
Well, in your classroom, you would have one kid who's always drawing and doodling, I was that kid.
That was you?
That was me.
Oh.
So I was always drawing characters and cartoon characters, but definitely I grew up in 90s, Aladdin or My Lion King, that's like a Disney classics. They were the huge inspiration for me. And then ever since I saw those characters moving, I drew them all the time. And as a kid, I was always telling my parents or my friends, hey, I'm gonna go to Disney when I grow up. I was like that.
Well, you ultimately did. I mean, this is the Disney of animation, really.
That is so true. When I got to get a position at Pixar, it was definitely a dreaming coming true moment for me.
But after 7 years, you decided to leave, which would have been a difficult thing to do. Why did you take that move?
Well, yeah, a lot of people call me crazy.
I know, it's like, it would
Right.
be a little bit of a crazy thing. You got your dream job and then you're leaving?
Leaving, by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's pushing you outside. I mean, I just told you about my experience as an artist, in my childhood. But the thing was, I always wanted to tell my own story. My 7 years at Pixar was wonderful. It was an incredible experience, but I was actually helping a director to tell his own story, technically, right? So I was always thinking about, hey, actually, I don't think I'm gonna stay at Pixar forever because it is my dream, but it's not my ultimate dream in a way. So I always consider Pixar as maybe a PhD or master's degree, So, okay, I'm gonna get there, but this is really a great opportunity for me to learn about this. But once I get this insights or skill sets, then there gotta be a time for me to make a tough decisions to move forward because, my dream is still out there, to become a director or storyteller of my own.
What were the challenges now that you were out of the Pixar family and on your own? You wanted to tell your own story, but
Yeah.
also it must have been a difficult transition.
Absolutely. So it's like a day and night. So at Pixar, you're in a huge cruise ship, and it's such an amazing environment for artists to just focus on what you need to focus on. Very specialized, and you just need to just do a great job at what you do, But outside the cruise of Pixar, you are out here in a huge Pacific vast ocean.
In your own little
On your
tugboat.
exactly, right? But you got your own direction, you got your own, vision.
You can figure out which direction you want to go
Yeah,
apart
yeah.
from the cruise ship.
Definitely. And there's a huge joy this is getting bigger. My ship, I started as a one tube maybe, but now I got a little bigger boat, and now it's getting bigger. And then I can always take turn, with my own vision and my own guidance. That free will and that freedom, what that has been giving me has been much bigger than maybe the challenges or hardships, that were.
And then you found opera.
Yes, yes.
So, after Pixar and before opera, which is a major work of yours, there are other things that you worked on between that. Tell us what those were and what you learned from them.
Stepping back a little, the reason why I left Pixar was to tell my own story, first of all, but also I wanted to try different mediums of art because animation is such a powerful tool to deliver the message and tell the story. But I was also very interested in other mediums like virtual reality or exhibition or media art. So I slowly expanded my spectrum wider and wider. I did work on film like Namu, that's the title of the project, which means tree in Korean, of course, That's virtual reality.
Okay.
You gotta experience this with your headset,
Oh.
So I did that. Also like a series, but not a very conventional way, 5-minute each episode, but 10 of them.
Oh.
So it was only released in Japan and France at the time because it's way too artistic in a way.
Oh, really?
So,
But what was that called? I mean,
the dam keeper. So it's keeping the dam,
Dam.
So it's a little pig keeping
really?
the dam, waiting for his father. It's very heartwarming, charming story. And that was actually the first project I directed as soon as I left Pixar. That's one of the examples, I worked on. And also I did work on some Netflix series as well. That's how I've been carving my career as a director. since then.
expanding your experience.
Absolutely, yeah.
And all of that led to opera? Or is opera just at one sector of your building your career?
It started as a one sector, but it became a huge thing, that started driving my path. It's directly linked to how I get inspired usually, So it was the year of 2017 or 18 when I first decided to work on opera. So that's when my vision was going a little bit outwards. Up to a certain point, it was more about self-explanation, so like more internal journey, very personal stories. But I started thinking a lot about the world around me, the society, and social problems, climate crisis. And then one night I was so depressed, vulnerable about all those things. And then I was asking myself, as an artist, is there anything I can do? Yes, I got the talent. Yes, I got some skill set to share thoughts. And am I doing this just for my own good? No, I need to do something to hopefully make a little bit of a contribution to our society. And that's when I decided to design the world of opera, which is about the society, which is about human history. So that's how the journey started.
So tell us a little bit more about opera. To me, it was very impactful because you could not stop watching it,
Right.
even though it was the same thing over and over again. So how did you design the whole project?
So usually when I choose medium, it always starts from the story and the message I love to convey. So as soon as I decided to talk about society and history, I immediately realized that, I cannot just make it as a film that has a certain running time. If you think about film language, it has a start and the ending, right? But our life isn't like that. Everything's constantly flowing in the cycle of life. So that is why opera is just a cycle. So this film is 5-minute running time, but it's a day and night, just constantly moving forward. It feels like there's a beginning and a climax and the ending, but this ending immediately connects back to the beginning. And that's how I saw how our history is being flowing in a way. So that was the main question. Are we learning from the past? I'm not directing or guiding the viewers to look at certain segment. I'm giving you the full freedom. There's a wedding going on, there's a funeral going on, there's a war, there's like a happy moment, everything's all mixed up. So it's now up to you to decide where to look. It's cycling on and on and on, so you can just enjoy this as long as you want and talk about certain things with your friends maybe. I maybe wanted to initiate and start the conversation among the audience in a way, you know?
When you explain it that way,
Yeah.
it does explain how to look at it, because it's hard to look away because you get caught up in one aspect, but the moment you look away, then you get caught up in another
Sure,
aspect.
exactly.
It has a lot of emotions mixed into one project.
Yeah.
Was that what you intended?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's how I maybe view life as well. It's always light and shadow, darkness all together, joy and sad. We just talked about emotion, but that's how I view it. So this project particularly does showcase that, you know.
And when it was nominated for animated short film at the Oscars, were you surprised?
Of course. Who can plan that, right? It's Academy nominations. So, oh my God, it was, I still feel like I was in a dream, you know. Did it really happen? You know?
As they selected your film, why do you think it became such a strong contender?
Well, you know, I think probably those couple of factors I just described. First of all, subject matter, you know. So I am poking at some of the things we should learn and acknowledge. You know, we are talking about systems and politics, all those things we need to be aware of. And on top of that, I am challenging the viewers of way of watching animation or film. Oh my God, like I wanted to present a new way of experience the film language. So, oh wow, a lot of people think when you think about film or animation, you go to the theater, or you turn on the Netflix or something and just watch it, right? But I wanted to provide much more immersive experience where the audience can become a part of the project in a way. So maybe that's what Academy saw too. Wow, this is not conventional, but it is actually suggesting a whole new way to watch the cinema.
So on that note,
Yeah.
what is Erick Oh up to now? Right now, what are you up to? And what are you doing with opera?
Well, first of all, opera is currently showing in Jeju Island. So thankfully, after Academy nomination, myself and our production company were able to get a lot of like opportunities and offers. Hey, you want to show opera here or there? But from the get-go, I had a clear vision of how I wanted to present opera. Not only opera, I wanted to create few other pieces to support this experience. So I ended up designing this whole new experience, immersive experience, where you walk around and you get to meet this couple of different films or installations. And one of the projects is opera now. So together it tells us one singular message. And that exhibition is taking place in Jeju Island. So it's a huge, huge warehouse kind of like space. You just walk in, whole floor is just opera experience.
Really?
Yeah, and very musical too. You will get to hear loud music, very immersive music.
Really?
So it's
Because the film itself is almost like people chatting.
Right,
you.
yeah. But I wanted to take it to another level. So it will really take you to another space for sure. So it's a permanent show, so it's gonna go on at least 2 years from now. It just opened this summer. So yeah, just go to Jeju and check this out.
You seem very excited about this project.
I am.
But this is, I guess, just the next step.
Yes.
Even further.
Yeah.
What are you envisioning?
Well, just like how I've been carving my career and my trajectory as an artist, I'll continue doing what I've been doing, which means keeping very true and sincere to my own self and also the story I love to tell and my vision and the things and values I care. Like universal values or personal messages. And besides that, I love to keep on challenging myself, with different mediums. So I love to do something I've never done so far, like web comics, for example, feature animation or live action, why not? So I am planning some of those, for sure.
Well, I mean, with your experience in so many different types of mediums, we will expect a lot of very exciting things to come from Erick Oh.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Now, you are one of a growing number of Korean and Korean American directors who are making a splash not only in Hollywood but in various aspects of the arts. How do you feel about that? Do you see that trend continuing? Is that trend having an effect on how Hollywood produces art and films? What has your experience been like?
I mean, yes, for sure. I can feel that even more deeply because I am based in California. So, and then literally movie entertainment business. And I can totally see year by year how this K-content, Korean content is becoming a bigger part of the industry, And it's coming from multiple directions, which is awesome. When I was, even a couple of months ago, Hangang became, the one...
Literature, yeah.
It's crazy, right? And then like some K-pop stars doing such a great job in Billboard, Korean directors doing such an amazing job with filmmaking. I mean, we are all hard worker, and then I think we all have maybe a responsibility, just keep telling a good story or being honest, and then also maybe we have just mutual concept that each one of us is representing our country, our home country, like in your maybe culinary too, like even as a chef or even as a singer or storyteller or filmmaker, we are always identified as a Korean artist or Koreans, So, okay, I am in a way representing our country, and then I have to do a good job. I think we all maybe have those type of responsibility in a way. At least I do.
So it pushes you to work even harder.
I think so,
Yeah?
but in a good way, So nobody's being forced to be someone else, but it's more about being forced in a nice way to be who you are, better version of yourself in a way. So, and while striving for those directions, this amazing outcomes are born in a way, and then there's a synergy too. We get inspired by some other people in our group of Korean artists or anyone in any business or industries, right?
And so when you meet other people in the industry or like yourself, do you feel that synergy? Do you feel that connection?
I do.
Commonality?
Yeah, totally. Even in the States, I do get meet up or run into other Korean actors or celebrities or any producers or filmmakers, and we do talk about those. I mean, we talk about a lot of things, but always talk about, is there anything we can do as a Korean? It's really part of myself in a way, I think that's maybe the core energy why our stories are going further to abroad, and a lot of people resonate with our stories.
Well, you're an amazingly talented group, I have to say. And you're part of that group. So thank you very much. We're hoping to see a lot more from you and the other colleagues that you have in Hollywood and in Korea soon. Will you be settling in Korea? You have that now project in Jeju.
I mean, I come to Korea very frequently. I have friends, family, partners, so yeah, I mean, I'll be doing more fun stuff in Korea too, so I'll have more opportunity to meet people here, so I'm looking forward to it.
You got to stop by again and talk to us.
Of course.
All right.
Anytime.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's it for me. I'll be back next week with another globalist who's putting Korea on the map. Sunjae out.